before you take another step. Pause before you make that call, before you send that message, before you walk out of that door or into that decision. God says, wait, you need to hear me first. Welcome, beloved. You're not here by accident. Heaven has been tugging at your heart. Your soul is searching for something deeper. And this is your moment. Before you take another step, God is calling you into stillness. Take this moment. Let everything else fade. Let the confusion settle. Let the noise quiet down. Let your heart finally breathe. Because what you're about to hear is not just encouragement. It's instruction. It's direction. It's warning. It's love. Before we go further, if this message begins to touch your spirit at any point, I want you to like this video to let others know they're not alone. And when we reach the end, comment the words "blessed and ready" as a declaration of your agreement with what God is speaking over your life. And don't forget to subscribe to Whispers of Grace if you haven't yet. This is where God continues the conversation you've been praying to hear. Now, take a deep breath and let's begin. Because God says before you take another step, you must hear this. You've been rushing to fix things, trying to hold it all together, trying to prove your worth, trying to make up for lost time, trying to be strong for everyone else. But inside, you're tired. Your soul is heavy. You're trying to walk forward with shaky legs. And God sees it. He sees that you're walking, but not listening, doing, but not discerning, moving, but not trusting. God says, stop. I have something to say. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Did you catch that? Not some of your ways, all of them. God wants access to every decision, every plan, every next step. He's not trying to control you. He's trying to protect you, because there are things you can't see yet. People who smile in your face, but don't carry your best intentions in their heart. Opportunities that look good, but carry hidden traps. Paths that seem promising, but lead to pain. And your Father in heaven is saying, before you move again, listen, let me guide you. That offer that just came in. God says, don't say yes yet. That new relationship pulling your attention. God says, test the spirit behind it. That sudden idea to quit, to run, to confront, to start over. God says, bring it to me first. You see, God doesn't move in panic. He moves in peace. And if your steps are being driven by fear, frustration, or fatigue, you're not walking in the Spirit. That's why he had to interrupt you today. Because your next step matters. It matters more than you know. You think it's just a small choice, but it's connected to a chain of events. God is not only working on what's right in front of you, he's positioning you for what's 5 years ahead. And one wrong step now could delay a divine appointment later. This is not to scare you, it's to wake you up. Isaiah 30:21 says, your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it, whenever you turn to the right hand, or whenever you turn to the left. There's a voice that's been whispering, not loudly, not aggressively, but gently, repeatedly. And if you've been too busy to hear it, you've been too busy to be led. God says, I've been speaking. You just haven't been still long enough to hear. So right now, he's slowing you down. Not because you're being punished, but because you're being prepared. Preparation always comes before elevation. Instruction always comes before increase. And surrender always comes before strategy. God is preparing you to move with power, but power without direction becomes destruction. You need divine clarity, And clarity doesn't come through motion. It comes through stillness, through prayer, through surrender. Before you take another step, ask yourself, have I really heard from God? Or am I running on emotion? Have I made room for God to lead me? Or have I already made up my mind, and I'm just hoping He agrees? Let's be honest. Sometimes we pray, not to hear God, but to convince Him to bless what we already decided to do. God says, I won't bless what you built without me. He's not a backup plan. He's not a silent partner. He is the foundation, and any step taken without Him as the foundation is a setup for a fall. But the good news, He hasn't left you. He hasn't given up on you. Even if you've wandered ahead, even if you've been moving on your own, even if you've ignored His prompts, He still loves you, and He's still speaking. Right now, He's calling you back to the secret place, back to intimacy, back to obedience, back to the safety of His voice. You don't need 100 opinions. You don't need every video or book or confirmation. You just need one word from God. And that one word can shift everything. That one word can make you wait when everyone else is rushing. It can make you move when everyone else is hesitating. It can give you peace when the world is shaking. Psalm 119:105 says, Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Not a spotlight for the whole road, just enough light for your next step. That's what God gives. That's what He's offering you now. But He needs your attention, your full surrender, not partial trust, not halfway obedience. All in, because this next step you take, it's a seed. It will grow into something, either a testimony or a lesson, either a harvest or a setback. God says, I want to walk with you into the testimony, but you've got to stop leaning on your own understanding. Stop trying to figure it all out in your head. Stop obsessing over outcomes you can't control. Start listening. Start obeying. Start trusting. If you're thinking, but I don't know how to hear God, don't worry, He knows how to make Himself heard. Sometimes it's a sudden peace. Sometimes it's a restless feeling that doesn't go away. Sometimes it's a verse that keeps appearing. Sometimes it's closed doors you didn't understand at first. But when you seek Him with a sincere heart, He will not hide from you. Jeremiah 29:13 says, You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. So search, not halfway, not when it's convenient. Search with all your heart. Before you take another step, go into your room, close the door, put your phone aside, kneel, wait, listen, ask Him, Father, is this your will? Is this your timing? Is this your path for me? And then be still. Don't rush to get an answer. Be still long enough for your spirit to tune in, because God doesn't shout over chaos. He whispers in stillness, and when He speaks, you'll know. It won't always make sense. It won't always align with logic, but it will align with His peace, and His peace never lies. You've been trying to carry too much. You've been trying to lead yourself. You've been tired because you've been trying to do God's job. But He never asked you to. He asked you to trust Him. So stop, lay it down. The fear, the pressure, the pride, the control. Surrender it all. Say it with me right now in your heart. God, I'm done moving without you. I don't want my way anymore. I want your way. Guide me. Speak to me. Interrupt me when I'm moving too fast. Give me ears to hear, you and the courage to follow. In Jesus' name. You don't have to have it all figured out today, but you do have to listen. That's all God is asking for. Your attention, your heart, your willingness. Before you take another step, give him the lead. There's a breakthrough coming. There's favor being prepared. There's divine alignment on the other side of your obedience. But don't run ahead of God. He's not late. He's not silent. He's strategic. He's positioning you for something greater. But you won't receive it by force. You'll receive it by faith. So trust him. Wait on him. Listen again. And when you move with him. The moment you align your steps with God's voice, things begin to shift. Not always on the outside first, but deep within, that inner war begins to quiet. That pressure to perform begins to lift. That confusion starts to clear. Why? Because you're no longer walking blindly. You're walking with divine clarity. God never promised the path would be easy, but he promised he'd go with you. He promised to lead you beside still waters, to restore your soul, to prepare a table before you, even in the presence of enemies. But if you keep rushing ahead, you'll miss the table. You'll miss the still waters. You'll miss the restoration. You'll miss the miracle that was never in the hustle, but in the hush. God says, you're striving too much. You've mistaken activity for progress. But what I want is your availability. Some of you have filled your schedule, but emptied your spirit. You've said yes to everything and everyone, but no to the quiet voice inside you whispering, come away with me. And the truth is, you can't keep living like this. On empty, exhausted, distracted. Your soul wasn't made for constant motion. It was made to walk with God. Micah 6:8 says, what does the Lord require of you but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? Not sprint, not panic, not perform, but walk humbly, closely, step by step. The problem is, many of us want God's blessing at the finish line, but we're not willing to walk with him in the process. We want breakthrough without obedience, clarity without quiet, harvest without seed. But that's not how the kingdom works. God is not a vending machine. He is a shepherd, and the shepherd leads his sheep with patience, with purpose, with wisdom. But sheep that run ahead are vulnerable to the wolves. Sheep that wander too far are easy targets. That's why this moment matters. That's why he's calling you now. Not because he's angry, but because he's protective. You are more precious to him than you even realize. You think he's trying to delay you, but he's really trying to develop you. Because what's ahead requires a deeper level of maturity, a deeper level of discernment, a stronger spiritual backbone. If you step into that next season unprepared, it won't bless you, it'll burden you. So God in his mercy says, wait, let me finish what I started in you. You don't see it now, but he's refining you. That restlessness in your spirit, that's not punishment, that's preparation. That door that didn't open, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. That delay you're facing, it's not a denial, it's divine protection. Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That means even the things you didn't choose, even the things that broke your heart, even the confusion, even the waiting, even the closed doors, God is using it, shaping it, weaving it together for good. But only when you stay in step with him. And maybe that's where you've struggled. Maybe you've felt out of step, off track, disconnected. But listen, you are one surrendered moment away from realignment. God is not mad at you for drifting. He's just asking you to return. Before you take another step, return to him. He misses you, not your work, not your effort. You wants your heart more than your hustle, your surrender more than your striving, your time more than your titles. You can have every success the world offers and still miss the voice of God. And if you miss His voice, you'll miss the point of everything, because you weren't made to chase goals. You were made to chase God. And when you seek Him first, everything else aligns. Matthew 6:33 says, "But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." Not seek success first, not validation, not revenge. Seek Him before you call them back. Seek Him before you take that job. Seek Him before you make that post, send that message, sign that deal. Seek Him. There's too much at stake. You've come too far. God has invested too much into you to let you throw it away by moving too fast. This is your reset. This is your divine pause. This is your instruction before the next assignment. Because the next step you take, it carries weight. It carries consequence. It carries promise. But the only way to access that promise is through obedience. Not partial obedience, not delayed obedience, but immediate, willing, heartfelt obedience. The kind that says, "God, even if I don't understand, I'll follow. Even if it costs me something, I'll trust. Even if it's uncomfortable, I'll walk with you." That's what He's looking for. Not perfection, just posture. A heart that says, "Before I take another step, I want to know you're with me." God honors that. He responds to that. He blesses that. Because you weren't made to lead yourself. You were made to follow the shepherd. And if you've been lost, if you've been weary, if you've been confused, this is the moment He brings you back. He leaves the 99 for the one. And today, beloved, you are the one. So take this message seriously. Don't just feel inspired. Act on it. Turn down the volume of the world and turn up the volume of His word. Create space in your life where God can speak. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, give Him that first portion. Give Him your mornings. Give Him your thoughts before the noise begins. You don't need to be a theologian. You don't need to have perfect prayers. Just be real. Be honest. Be still. Because He wants to walk with you again. He wants to partner with you, to align your steps with heaven, to speak clarity where there's been confusion, to give you confidence that isn't rooted in self, but rooted in His presence. And when you begin walking like that, when your decisions are saturated in prayer, when your steps are Spirit-led, things begin to happen. Doors open that no man can shut. Opportunities chase you down. Peace guards your heart. Wisdom flows freely, and your life begins to reflect heaven. That's what God is inviting you into. Not a life of pressure, but a life of purpose. So take this seriously. Before you move again, go back to God. Not just for answers, but for alignment. Ask Him, "God, is this where you want me? Is this what you're saying to me? Is this the season to step, or the season to stay?" And then, listen. He'll answer, because He's faithful, and He delights in leading His children. Or the Psalm 32:8 says, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye." That's personal. That's intimate. That's the God who sees you, not just where you are, but where you're headed. So let Him guide you. Let Him interrupt you. Let Him slow you down, because what He's preparing for you is bigger than what you're rushing toward. You think you're missing out, but what you're really doing is being positioned. And the ones who are positioned by God will always be in the right place, at the right time, for the right assignment. So pause, pray, and stay in His presence until peace comes. Then, and only then, take your next step. And once you take that next step with God, not ahead of Him, not behind Him, but with Him, you will begin to notice something shifting in your atmosphere. The stress that once crushed your chest will begin to lose its grip. The fog that clouded your judgment will begin to clear. The doubts that whispered, "What if you fail?" will get drowned out by the voice that says, "I will go before you." God is not just the author of your beginning. He is the finisher of your journey. And He knows exactly what you need, when you need it, and how to deliver it in a way that exceeds your understanding. But to receive what He has for you, you must walk in step with Him, not just in belief, but in action. This is where many people miss it. They believe in God, but they still take steps based on fear, based on pressure, based on deadlines, and outside voices. They say, "I trust you," but their actions reveal a different allegiance. You cannot say, "God is my guide," and let culture, people, money, or ego tell your feet where to go. There will be moments where God says, "Wait here," and every part of you will want to run. There will be moments when He says, "Go now," and fear will tell you, "Stay safe." But the person who learns to move with God will walk in levels of peace and protection that the world can never offer. Isaiah 26:3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you." Peace is the fruit of presence, and presence is cultivated in stillness. If you've been losing sleep, if your chest feels tight, if your mind is overwhelmed, it's not because you're broken, it's because your soul is crying out for direction. And you won't find it in more activity. You'll find it in alignment. Let today be the day you recalibrate. Let this be the moment where you make a decision. No more rushing, no more assuming, no more moving, just because it looks right or feels urgent. From this day forward, you will move when God says move. You will rest when He says rest. You will listen first, act later. You will live with intention, not impulse, because you're not walking alone anymore. You never really were, but now you're aware of it. God is going to begin confirming things to you. You'll notice it. You'll pray about something, and a message will echo your prayer. You'll seek clarity, and someone will speak directly to your heart. You'll ask for guidance, and doors will open or close with divine precision. You'll be surprised how quickly He answers. When you finally become still enough to hear. James 1:5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him." That's His promise to you, not to leave you guessing, not to leave you stuck, but to give you wisdom, freely, abundantly, without judgment. He wants to lead you more than you want to be led. That desire you feel deep down, the hunger for something more, the need for direction, the craving for peace, that's not random. That's the Spirit of God drawing you into deeper trust. He's teaching you how to walk by faith, not by sight. Because walking with God will not always make sense. It will not always be popular. It will not always feel comfortable, but it will always be worth it. Some of you listening right now, you're standing at a crossroads. You've got a choice to make, and time is ticking. Pressure is rising. People are waiting on you, and you're tempted to make the quick decision. But hear me clearly. Delay is not disobedience when it leads to divine clarity. Sometimes God delays you so He can protect you. Sometimes He closes a door not to block you, but to bless you with something better. You don't have to be afraid of missing your moment, because what's for you, when you walk in obedience, cannot pass you by. And even if you've made mistakes in the past, even if you've taken wrong turns, there is grace. There is still time. There is still hope. There is still a future. Joel 2:25 says, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. God can redeem lost time. He can redeem lost opportunities. He can even redeem wrong decisions. But He needs your yes now, your surrender, your humility, your permission to lead. He won't force you. He's not a tyrant. He's a father. And fathers don't drag, they invite.
So what will you choose? Will you choose to keep figuring it out on your own? Will you keep running in circles, exhausted by your own effort? Or will you pause, take a deep breath, and say, Lord, lead me? You have no idea what's waiting on the other side of that surrender. There's favor that's been stored up, peace that's been prepared, divine connections that have already been scheduled, resources you haven't even imagined, healing you didn't think was possible. But it only comes after obedience. So don't take another step until your spirit is at peace. Don't take another step until you've heard from God. Don't take another step until you know He's walking with you. This message wasn't just words. It was confirmation. It was heaven tapping on the door of your heart saying, you've been going too fast. Let me guide you. Now the decision is yours. Will you obey? Will you wait until you hear His voice? Will you give Him your next step? Or will you keep doing it your way, hoping for a different outcome? The loving correction of God is not to shame you, it's to save you. And today, He's saving you from premature moves, from false starts, from unnecessary heartache, from your own impatience. He's leading you back to a life of clarity, a life of trust, a life of surrender. So before this video ends, take a moment, close your eyes, whisper to Him, God, I give you this next step. Lead me. I won't move until you say go. I won't act until I hear your voice. I trust you more than I trust myself. Your way is better. Your timing is perfect. And your will is what I want. Now breathe. Let that surrender settle in your heart. Something just shifted in you. Heaven heard you. And from this moment forward, you will no longer walk blind. You will walk boldly, because you're walking with the one who knows the end from the beginning. And when people ask you why you're so calm, why you're so confident, why you're so at peace, you'll simply say, because I don't take a single step without God. Before we end, I want to speak a blessing over you. May your ears be open to His voice. May your spirit be sensitive to His leading. May your steps be ordered by His wisdom. May your delays turn into divine redirection. May every false voice be silenced. May every counterfeit door be exposed. And may the next step you take be your most aligned, anointed and fruitful yet. If this word has touched you, like this video to let others know they're not alone. Share it with someone who needs this message. And comment below, blessed and ready. Let the enemy know you're not moving in fear. You're moving in faith. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Whispers of Grace for more prophetic guidance, spiritual clarity, and divine reminders that God is still speaking. He's not done with you. He's just getting started. So before you take another step, listen, lean in, and walk with Him, because where He's taking you is far greater than where you've been.